Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Carsonell from Quarantine Racism Educational Services. I have a Master of Public Policy, and my background is in social justice, racial justice, and gun violence prevention policies. So, today I'm going to be talking about how to address ICE raids in schools. We're going to be discussing strategies, approaches, policies, and policy proposals. So, a little bit about us at Quarantine Racism First. We're dedicated to serving students, supporting teachers, administrators, and parents through emphasizing equity and the strengths of diversity in the classroom. We are Black owned, veteran owned. We provide free resources. We have a course called Promoting Positive Racial Teacher Student Relationships. It is currently on sale for $297. We have textbooks for sale. We also have free articles, graphics, and videos on our various initiatives and current events. We do live stream presentations such as this and panel discussions on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we go live on the Quarantine Racism Educational Services Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube accounts. So this is our team here. Dr. Al Moomin, and she is a racial equity brand ambassador as well, based in Nevada. Dr. Campbell is our founder, a former principal and educator based in New Jersey. I am, as I stated, a racial equity brand ambassador based in Massachusetts. So here's an overview of what we're going to discuss today. I'm going to do an introduction to ICE raids in schools and a timeline of ICE policies. I'm going to go into the effects of these new policies, statistics, case studies. Then we'll discuss strategies and approaches, policies, and policy proposals, and conclude. So, for our introduction, the removal of schools as a sensitive location. So, as of January 2025, the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security established a new policy which removes schools and other places as sensitive locations. So, sensitive locations were previously places where ICE cannot carry out enforcement actions except for limited circumstances. So, now schools and other sensitive locations are within ICE's jurisdiction, and there's no limits or any kind of there's no limitations. It's just sort of a free reign of anywhere now. So I went back into the different ICE jurisdiction policies, going from establishing sensitive locations to the removal of sensitive locations being protected from ICE's jurisdiction. So the Obama administration in 2011 established sensitive locations with a few exceptions. The Biden administration in 2021 added more places to the list of sensitive locations. The Trump administration in 2025 removed sensitive locations. And as of January 2025, there's been a lot of ICE raids conducted in schools, at graduation ceremonies, places of worship, court, and hospitals, in courthouses and hospitals. So these are some examples of sensitive locations. So, and I also added which administration established them or continued to use them as sensitive locations. So, schools, hospitals, places of worship, public demonstrations, funerals, weddings, and other ceremonies, social services, establishments, bus stops, playgrounds, and care centers. So, for the first two, the Obama administration established them as sensitive locations. For all three, the Biden administration um, established the social services establishment, bus stops, playgrounds, and care centers, going off of the schools, hospitals, places of worship, public demonstrations, funerals, weddings, and ceremonies that the Obama administration added. And then for the Trump administration, it has removed all of the above as sensitive locations. So these are the effects of removing sensitive locations. ICE has been targeting schools, hospitals, places of worship, graduation, and other ceremonies, as well as courthouses. There's been an increase in arrests and apprehensions, a wrongful questioning and detaining of US citizens, including Native American people. And there's been a lot of fear that has been increasing due to this, which has led to a decrease in school attendance and people being deterred from seeking medical care and other essential services. So these are some statistics that I wanted to include. So there's been a $75 billion increase in ICE's budget, which now makes it the highest funded law enforcement agency in the federal government. There's been a 22% increase of daily student absences in California's Central Valley since the Trump administration ICE raids. And less than um, half a percent of 1.8 million immigration cases include deportation orders for the commission of a crime. So I also wanted to discuss case studies. I like to do this because it outlines the things that have been happening in current events that people might want to see examples of, so we can talk about these things that are happening and how to address them and what has been occurring. So, in Massachusetts, the Attorney General has come out with some ICE guidelines for schools and has instructed teachers and administrations to withhold student information from ICE and other third parties. In Milford, Massachusetts, there's a high school student named Marcelo Gomez da Silva who was arrested and detained on his way to volleyball practice. And he has since been released, but he was in there and he did some interviews about the horrible conditions in there. And in Los Angeles, California, recently there's a 15-year-old student who was disabled that was arrested outside of school while he was registering for classes for the upcoming school year. So, these are the different strategies and approaches that we can use to address the issue of there no longer being sensitive locations. So, ICE is able to do raids within schools. So, for the first one, we can provide students and parents with resources or guardians. So, refer them to school counselors, other counselors, and refer them to different Know Your Rights pamphlets. There are a lot of those going around that different organizations have made. You can connect with local organizations and lawyers within the area and beyond, the ACLU. So, something else that can be done is number two, determine and write procedures responding to ICE. So consider the steps that should be taken in ICE's presence if they do come onto campus. So you want to have a plan in place for if that does occur. So we want to refer to the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, which protects student information from outside agencies. And we do not want to allow access to campus or student records for ICE. Another thing that can be done is training on responding to ICE policies and their impacts. This is another thing that teachers can do to address this issue. So, one thing that can be done that I think is currently being overlooked, that is also a major issue, is monitoring if a student is being bullied related to immigration status, because there could be students or parents of students that could call ICE on that child's family and that child. Work on training about how to respond to ICE requests for data or access to the school, and do not ask for immigration status of students or their parents or guardians. So, something else that's been done recently, I looked at a case in the LA school district. So, Superintendent Alberto Carvalho from the LA United School District directed local police to intervene and interfere if ICE arrived at graduations. And there actually was recently at a California school a student that was arrested. The previous case I was talking about, the disabled student that was arrested, but eventually was released after there was an intervention from the Los Angeles Police Department. So, policies and policy proposals. Number one, FERPA. Again, this is really important, referring to the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act. This act prohibits schools from having to provide outside agencies such as ICE with student information. Number two, proposing new school board resolutions are really important. So a lot of schools have been doing this to address the issue with the ice removal of sensitive locations. Schools in various places have been doing this. I did some research on schools that are implementing new policies establishing safe zones for their school district from ice. There have been schools in Colorado. I actually was surprised to see some schools in my home state of Florida doing this. In Massachusetts, there's been a lot of this, um, proposing new resolutions as a safe zone for schools. And yeah, a lot of different states have been implementing this as a way to deal with these ice raids being allowed in schools now. So, three, proposed policy permitting police department interference. So, propose a policy that would permit local law enforcement to intervene in ICE raids, or if there's even a request for student information, if they're not necessarily on campus or doing a search on campus or raid, if they request information and contact the school, um, getting police department involved and to intervene in that situation has worked in the previous case that I discussed. So, a policy on withholding student information is also a good addition as a policy. So, as I spoke about previously, the Massachusetts Attorney General established ICE guidelines to instruct schools to withhold student information from ICE and from all other third parties. So, this is the conclusion. In such trying times, with the removal of sensitive locations being outside of ICE's jurisdiction, educators and administrators can attempt to address this through various strategies, approaches, and policies in order to protect students and families within their communities. So, again, the strategies and approaches are to provide students and families with resources such as reaching out to different local organizations, lawyers, counselors, social workers, giving them different pamphlets that have been helping some people out, the Know Your Rights pamphlets, determine and write procedures for ICE presence. If they do appear on campus, be prepared to deal with that and have a plan of how to move through that and how to move forward after that occurs. Complete training on responding to ICE. Again, it's pretty much related to determining and writing procedures for dealing with ICE if they arrive on campus, but you also want to continually do training for teachers and administrators on how to deal with it when that moment comes. So, direct police to intervene with ICE raids is the last one. Again, as I spoke about with the case in California, this did work for a student that was being arrested. They did release him after the police intervened and didn't allow them to apprehend the student. So, for our policies and policy proposals to address sensitive locations being removed, and now in within ICE's jurisdiction, for number one, refer back to FERPA to protect student information. Number two, propose safe zone school district resolutions. Number three, propose policy permitting police department interference with raids. And number four, propose policies to withhold student information. And that's another one that I spoke about that's been occurring in Massachusetts since there has been the removal of sensitive locations. So these are my different references. And this is how you can contact us. So I have our quarantine racism accounts, Dr. Campbell's information to contact him, Dr. Moomin's information to contact her, as well as my information and my referral link.